Dividing a 3D Lego model into logical construction steps is the foundation of professional building instructions. In this video, I'll show you how to master Studio's step creation interface, turn your models into structured steps, and even test an advanced technique called the onion peel method. Ready to create like the pros? Let's get started! Welcome to the third video in our second week of BRICKSBIZ training. In today's lesson, we're going to take a closer look at the Studio Building Instructions Step Editor interface. Thanks to the theoretical basis you assimilated in the previous lesson, you'll see that you're well equipped to easily divide your 3D model into building steps within Studio. By the end of this lesson, you'll already be able to divide a basic 3D model into logical steps within the software. This is a very important step in our building instruction creation process. So, without further ado, let's switch to the Studio software. Let's start by looking at how to divide a step into several blocks. I hope you still have in mind the decomposition rules you learned in the previous lesson. Studio follows exactly the same principles. In Studio Step Editor interface, the way to divide a block of parts into smaller blocks is to move the parts into a new previous step or into a new next step. Parts in previous steps are displayed as wireframes by default in the main viewing area. Parts in subsequent steps are simply hidden from view. When you select a part and use one of the two buttons below the part list, Step Before and Step After, Studio will create a new step and move the part you've selected into it. When you press these buttons, you'll see that Studio creates a new step before or after the selected step, depending on which button was clicked. You can, of course, select several parts to be moved to a previous or subsequent step. Thanks to this mechanism, you can progressively break down a complete 3D model into several steps, corresponding to building steps. Let's take the Lego logo as a concrete example. Starting from the complete Lego model, if I want each letter of the logo to correspond to a step, I'll select all the pieces corresponding to a letter with my mouse cursor in the same way as you would in the building interface. And then I'll click on one of the two buttons, Step Before or Step After, to transfer the selected bricks to a different step. By repeating this action, I can obtain 4 distinct steps, each containing the different parts of one of the letters in the Lego logo. By the way, you can see that the parts specific to the selected step appear just below the modeling area. You may also notice that the viewing area only displays the bricks of the selected step in color, that bricks of previous steps are displayed in wireframes, and that bricks of subsequent steps are simply not displayed at all. So you may sometimes need to change the order or content of your building steps. First of all, you can create an empty step using the button located at the top right of the left-hand panel. You can also change the order of the steps in the panel on the left. To move a step up or down in the step sequence, use the arrows to the left of each step overview. You can move a given step up or down by a single unit, or move steps to the very beginning or very end of the sequence. If you wish to move a step to a particular position in the sequence, you can also directly modify the position of this step using the text box located to the left of each step preview. We've seen how to move steps, but you can also move parts from one step to another. There are several ways to move the parts from one step to another. First of all, you can grab a part in the viewing area or directly in the parts inventory at the bottom of the screen and drag it with your mouse cursor into the step you're interested in. You can also select several parts at once. The parts you have selected and moved will then be assigned to the step you have chosen. By combining step modifications and part assignment, you can divide your complete 3D model into blocks of finer granularity and thus progressively create your building sequence. Your future building instructions will follow the sequence of steps you have defined. So the first building step will be described in the first pages of your building instructions, then the second step in the following pages, and so on until the end of the sequence of steps. So you're currently creating the structure of your future building instructions. Let's go back for a moment to how you select your parts to assign them to a different step from the one they are currently in. As we've just seen, to move parts from one step to another, you can select them either from the parts list or directly in the viewing area of the model. When a part is selected, it appears surrounded by blue in the viewing area and with a gray background in the parts list area at the bottom of the screen. You can use exactly the same controls as in the modeling area of the Studio Building interface. You can select one or more parts using your mouse or keyboard. To select several parts simultaneously, you can use the Control key on a Windows PC or Command key on Mac. You can also use this Control key to deselect certain parts. Please note, however, that this function only works in the model viewing area, not in the parts list area. You'll find the same camera movement options in the viewing area as in the building interface. Holding down the right mouse button allows you to rotate around the 3D model. Using your mouse wheel allows you to zoom in and out. And the Shift key, or the Space key on your keyboard, or the middle button on your mouse, allows you to pan the model displayed in the viewing area. As the commands are exactly the same as those in the 3D building mode with which you are already familiar, you should have no trouble viewing the 3D models displayed in the viewing area of the Step Editor interface. Let's move on to our first practical exercise in this lesson to familiarize you with Studio Step Editor interface. First, I'm going to ask you to reproduce what I've just done in the video. I'll ask you to divide the 3D model of the LEGO logo into different steps. Please download the Studio file following the link below this video, and whose name appears on the screen, and open it in Studio. Then try dividing this 3D model into steps using the knowledge you've just learned in this lesson. Start by dividing the model into 4 steps corresponding to each letter of the logo. Then go one step further in your division, your final goal being to divide each of the letters again into building steps. Try to make mistakes in your division to test the movement of parts from one step to another, following the principles you've just learned in this video. As usual, pause this video now. If you get stuck in the exercise, you can restart the video to watch me perform the practical exercise right before your eyes. See you in a couple of minutes. Congratulations! You've divided a 3D model into building steps for the first time in Studio. Let me now explain a practical technique within Studio software for dividing your 3D model into steps. I'm doing just a quick break in the video to let you know that if you're enjoying this free training, you're going to absolutely love the full BRICKSBIZ training course. BRICKSBIZ full training course, this is more than 25 hours of online content, an exclusive membership to a private Discord community full of business experts, a lifetime access to monthly live sessions, and tons of templates, bonuses, marketing strategies, and automation scripts to turn your passion for Lego bricks into a profitable business. It's completely risk-free to try. You have 14 days to explore the program, and if you're not satisfied, you'll get a 100% reimbursement. No questions asked, though I'm pretty sure you won't need it. So if you are looking for more information, just follow the link that appears underneath this video. I let you get back to the content of this free BRICKSBIZ training course video. Steps. One of the most effective techniques for doing this is the deconstruction technique, also known as the onion peeling technique. In this technique, which may seem a little counterintuitive at first glance, you start with the parts on the periphery of your 3D model, or the top of the model if the build is standing on a base. You then progressively deconstruct your model. This method is most effective when your model contains more than 350 parts. To use it, start by selecting the parts on the periphery of your model and clicking on the Step After button, and repeat this action until you have the steps you need. As I explained, this is a kind of de-building of your model. For larger models, before using this technique, I recommend that you first subdivide your large model into several smaller blocks. Once you have many blocks, you can apply this onion peeling technique to each of the blocks. You'll end up with a complete division of your model into steps. In fact, you can navigate through the building steps of your sequence using the arrows in the panel just above the model viewing area. You'll see your 3D model being built right before your eyes. Before moving on to other practical exercises, let's talk about Studio Automatic Step Division. When your model has not yet been divided into steps, you may have noticed that Studio offers the option of automatically generating the building steps for you. You can perform this test on a model that has not yet been divided into steps by clicking on the Generate Step button. Studio will then automatically divide your model into a sequence of building steps. Please note that the button only appears when there is only one step in your 3D model. Give it a try, but I personally don't find automatic step generation very interesting yet, at least not in the version I'm using at the time of shooting this video, i.e. version 2.24.9. However, it can be useful for saving time when dividing a submodel into steps, as we'll see later in this training. I'll leave it to you to decide whether you want to use this feature or not. Let's move on to 3 extra practical exercises to familiarize ourselves with Studio Step Editor interface. First practical exercise, we're going to divide the 3D model of the Lego duck, which we modeled last week, into building steps. Please download the file whose name appears on the screen and below the video and open it in Studio. Try to divide the 3D model into steps using the knowledge you've gained in this lesson. You can also try using the Generate Steps feature to see if you like the result. As usual, pause this video, and if you have any problems during the exercise, you can restart the video to watch me perform the practical exercise before your very eyes. See you in a couple of minutes once you're done with the exercise. Back for the third practical exercise in this lesson. We're going to use the Lego police car we modeled in 3D last week. If you don't have it still with you, start by downloading the building instructions for this model from the Lego website by following the link displayed below this video. Then download the 3D model of the car from the link below the video and open the file in Studio. In this exercise, try to divide the 3D model into steps to reproduce exactly the same steps as those in the official Lego building instructions. For now, just add the Lego parts in the same order as they are added to the model in the building instructions. No problem if you find yourself slow on the uptake. You'll learn in the next 2 training videos how to use submodels, and I'll give you lots of tips on how to speed up your work in the Step Editor interface. I hope you enjoy the design exercise, and as usual, if you get stuck, you can restart this video and watch me do the exercise right before your eyes. I'll let you pause the video, and I'll see you again for the last practical exercise of this lesson. We've now come to our final exercise in familiarizing ourselves with the Step Editor interface. We'll now turn our attention to your own LEGO MOCs. Open in Studio the 3D model you created last week for your own LEGO MOCs. Please grab also the sheet of paper with the steps you defined in the previous lesson to hand. Start dividing your 3D model into different steps, following the advice you've just learned in this lesson. As a reminder, start by dividing your LEGO MOCs into different main blocks, then subdivide each block into smaller ones, as we learned in the previous lesson and earlier in this video. You don't have to divide your 3D model completely just yet. The next 2 lessons will give you many more tips on how to speed up this process, so don't put pressure on yourself to finish this exercise. I'll let you pause the video and restart it once you've finished the exercise. Congratulations! At the end of this lesson, you've acquired the skills to divide a 3D model into logical steps. This will make your life much easier in the creation of building instructions, which you'll discover in the next BRICKSBIZ training lessons. In the next 2 videos, we'll learn how to optimize your process of dividing 3D models into building steps. But before you switch over to this video, make sure you're familiar with the various functions present in the Step Editor interface and that you're able to divide a 3D model into logical steps. Also make sure you've already put your new skills to practical use to create steps for the Lego Duck logo, the police car, and even your own LEGO MOC. I'll see you in the next training video from the BRICKSBIZ course. Bye! This video was taken from the BRICKSBIZ training course. If you'd like to discover the full richness of this training course and learn how to create and develop a business around your Lego, you can follow the link that appears just below this video. You'll be able to join a community of experts and generate your first dollars in less than 4 weeks. As for me, I'll see you in a new free video on the BRICKSBIZ YouTube channel. You can watch the video by clicking on the link on the screen.